Merry Christmas, friends. The holidays can be a confusing time to be single, but it also presents a lot of magical opportunities.
Magical opportunities that can be created by you.
There are lots of romantic settings with lights and music and snowy landscapes. I remember once attending a mid-single fireside where the speaker talked about that show, The Bachelor. You've seen it, where one guy is dating 13 different girls to start with and gradually narrows down to the one he wants to date more seriously. And they take you to all of these beautiful tropical locations. And the speaker then commented on that. I could fall in love with a turtle under those conditions. He said what they should really do is make them sit in a room together and fold laundry for 10 hours. Well, there's a point to that. But Christmas creates a lot of romantic opportunities, and you need a good dose of that too.
Right, so it's like being on The Bachelor, only at Christmas time.
Actually, the first Christmas season where Cathy and I were dating, she planned a very romantic date where we went to a concert in the morning from one of her students. We did some work at the temple and then went out to dinner, and that evening we saw the Nutcracker.
And that's a tradition of mine, is going to see the Nutcracker. I've had a lot of fun holiday dates that included some of the traditional things I enjoy doing, and sometimes I was invited to do traditions with the men that I dated. But there's also unconventional dates. Let's talk about that.
I mean, you could go sledding, you could take your date snowshoeing. There's an endless number of things that you could potentially do. Bake cookies together and go Christmas carol. I mean, let your imagination run wild with different ideas.
And if you don't have a special someone, consider doing something on your own that might put you in a position to meet someone.
The holidays are a great time to initiate those kinds of connections in a time when people are open-hearted and more inclined to be receptive. You have lots of events that provide you a good excuse to ask for a partner. You could ask someone to your office Christmas party. You could ask someone to go to a choir performance or to go Christmas caroling, to do service.
If you're not at a point in your communication with those who you're interested in feeling comfortable asking them out, then set an intention to get to know them better to the point where you can feel comfortable asking them to accompany you to whatever good things come into your life.
Right, and we're not saying to hurry up and find somebody to date so that you can have somebody to spend the holidays with. That's not really the point. We're not suggesting that you force anything, but the holidays present a lot of beautiful settings, beautiful music, and romantic context in which you could begin a relationship if the right opportunity comes up. So open your heart to it. Open your heart to the spirit of the season, and as well as to other people.
Another point we wanted to make in this video about creating more magic in your life as a single person during the holidays is creating the opportunity for reconciliation wherever there are hard feelings in a past relationship.
In terms of reconciliation, the Christmas when I moved back to Utah about 6 years ago, my former wife happened to be here spending Christmas with members of her family. I brought our son and met her and her brother and his wife at a restaurant, and we had a pleasant evening together. And oddly enough, all of them were very kind and supportive toward me, and of course to our son. And it wasn't anything big or significant. It wasn't that we were getting back together, but Christmas created that atmosphere for us to feel peaceful, to desire to reach out in reconciliation and forgiveness. And I think I did feel some of that on that occasion. To talk about another experience with reconciliation, Cathy would acknowledge to you that she hasn't always had the greatest timing when it comes to ending romantic relationships.
It's true. It almost always seems to be a bad time when I get that gut feeling that I need to transition a relationship. It's often during an inopportune time, like a holiday
Cathy and I actually met up on December 23rd, 2 days before Christmas, and we exchanged Christmas gifts and then proceeded to have a conversation where she said she wanted to end our relationship.
He was wanting to move faster in the relationship than I was ready for, and I was feeling pressured, and he was feeling frustrated, and it just didn't feel like the right time for us.
I was hurt, and the first thing I did was give Cathy a piece of my mind. And then after that, told her that I didn't want to communicate with her until I was ready. Of course, that was probably not the best way for me to handle that. But the next day was Christmas Eve. I really had no plans. I had been hoping that this conversation between Cathy and I was going to take us in the opposite direction that it did. So I had no plans for Christmas Eve, and I was feeling kind of bad about the way things had ended between us. And so I decided to do something a little unconventional, and I spent that Christmas Eve alone. But I drove to Cathy's town, and I assembled a gift basket for her of self-care items, things that would make her feel good, everything from perfumed candles to bath oil to, you name it. And I spent the entire evening doing that. I left it at her house. I didn't see her, didn't plan to see her, frankly, at that time. I just wanted to make a peace offering. And I drove home that night in a blinding blizzard, 35 miles an hour. It was really almost whiteout conditions, but feeling good inside. And I fell into bed that night feeling like I had a heart at peace with myself. Regardless of how Cathy chose to accept that, at the time, I knew that I had done it with good intentions.
And that action led to us, a few months later, when he was ready, becoming friends again. And cultivating that friendship for a year.
Cultivating that friendship for a year, after which the following Christmas season, I sent Cathy a letter asking her to date me for marriage.
And that took me by surprise. But we did end up getting married. Fast forward a little bit, and I was asked to provide a musical number, because I'm a violinist, in the family ward that we belonged to after we got married. I chose to play his favorite Christmas piece, and guess what day that was?
December 23rd.
I made it up to him a few years later as his wife. The opportunity for reconciliation can come in unexpected ways, and it's important for us to take advantage of those opportunities when they present themselves, or even create them like Jeff did when we don't have a heart at peace and we know we want that. Christmas is the perfect time for reconciliation and creating magic.
Remember that any time, especially the holidays, is a great time for more love in your life. Thank you for watching.